guys, and today I would like to bring you along for some apple recipes. I got a great deal at my local store. Oh, my twins are waking up. This will be a two-part video. A great deal at my local store on apples. I have over 8 pounds of locally grown apples, and I'm headed to go get more shortly. But I am going to be making apple butter in the crock pot, apple pie jam, or caramel apple jam. I haven't quite decided which I'm going to do yet. And then I'm also going to be doing some apple pie filling. Ooh, they're mad. So if you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. I hope you stay with me to see these videos and how I go about canning these and baking these. And I'm going to go tend to my twins, and I will see you when I'm starting to prep all these apples. Alright guys, thanks for stopping. Alright guys, thanks for staying. So, I have all my apples, and these are ginger gold, it says, and then let's see, Cortland. I think there's another kind in here. Yeah, Jonamac, sorry for if I mispronounce it. I'm never picky on the type of apples that I get. I just adjust the sugar ratio depending on the type of apple that I'm using. When it comes to apple butter, at least. Now, apple pie filling, I use a firm apple. And then I've never made the jam that I'm going to be trying. So, you'll be just as new as I am on that one. But I'd assume that you'd want to use at least a semi-firm apple just because of it being cooked down like an apple pie filling would be. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Our sliced apples, I'm going to have sliced ones in here, and then my scraps are going to go in here so that I can wash them again, since I am going to be making that apple cider vinegar, or at least trying to. So we're going to rewash them. And you just want to make sure that if there's any bad spots, you cut the bad spots out. And for the I just lost my train of thought. Mom brain. For the apple butter, it doesn't matter how you cut it. You can cut it in chunks, and some people even, I hear my babies again, some people even leave the skin on. I have tried that, and I thought that it gave it not a burnt flavor, but I like my apple butter really thick, and so I cook it for a long time in the crock pot, and I think that it was just too much time for the skins to be in there. I mean, they pureed fine. You couldn't tell they were in there once it was pureed, but it definitely was not the taste that I was wanting. So I will not do that again. And I sell some of my apple butter, and so that whole batch I did not sell because I didn't like the quality of it. So that is that. So I'm going to continue doing that for the next 8-something pounds. But I'll show you my little core. I used to have one of those apple peeler core things, and I'll leave a link in the description box of the apple peeler core that I had. I loved it. I bought it off Amazon. Knife. I bought it off Amazon, but one of the pieces broke on it after I used it so much, so I got good use out of it though. It wasn't cheap. So I'll leave a link to that. I'll also leave a link to the canner that I use. I have an All-American canner, and oh my gosh, guys, if you have not used this canner, you need to get it. It is by far superior to the Presto canner that I used to have. When I first started canning, I didn't know how I was gonna do with it, so I just went and bought the, I think it was like 60 bucks, $60 canner, the Presto, and that's what I used for about the first year of me canning. And then I finally put the investment in and bought the All-American, and it's a completely different canning experience, in my opinion. So do your research, but I highly recommend it. And you guys can check it out for yourself. So I'm just going to continue doing this to my apples. Now I will say, for the jam, I want some cubed apples. They're not going to be in slices, they're going to be in cubes. So for that, I'm going to cube these up and put them in a different bowl. So that is going to be the only thing going on for at least the next probably 30 minutes. So I will bring you guys back whenever I am ready to start processing these in one way or another. So real quick, I forgot to tell you guys, this bowl, it has water and fruit fresh in it to keep the apples from turning brown while I'm processing all of them. Now you can also use salt water or lemon juice. I would have gone with one of the cheaper ones, the salt or the lemon juice, but I had fruit fresh, so that is what I'm using. But I didn't want to leave that out because otherwise your apples will turn brown in the process. So don't forget to soak them in water and either salt, lemon juice, or fruit fresh. Alright guys, so jars are in the canners getting ready to boil and sterilize. And apples are in my Dutch oven. Favorite thing to cook in. Like, I cook everything in this pot. Well, everything that I can in this pot. So we are going to be making the apple pie jam. I have 6 cups of diced apples. Oh, and there's my rings and lids. I'll turn that on closer to time and let them warm up. Not to a boil, but hot water over them. So 6 cups of that, and then we need a half a cup of water. So let me get that. So pour half a cup of water in, and then we get to let this cook. We'll let this cook until the apples get soft, and then once they're soft, I will bring you back to do the rest of the ingredients and get this jarred up. Okay guys, so this is cooked for 10 minutes and that was perfect. They are now soft, so now we're going to add in a cup of packed brown sugar, and then 4 cups of white sugar. flour. That could have gotten messy. 3 and 4. Oh, in there. I made a mess. You can't not make a mess while canning. It just can't happen. Okay. So, incorporate all of that sugar. And then we're going to bring it back up to a boil. And let it boil for a minute. Then we're going to add in our seasonings and our pectin and bring it back up to a boil for a minute. And then once it comes up to a boil, we'll test it to make sure that it's a good consistency. And then we'll make sure it's a good consistency. And then we will start packing our jars. So I will bring you back when we are adding the other things. I'm just going to let this come up to a boil. Okay guys, so this is what we want, is a boil that cannot be stirred down. So now we are going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then 1/2 teaspoon, which I do a heaping 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to test it after it's done to make sure that that's enough for my taste. Fogging you guys up. Okay, so get that all incorporated. Off the sides of my... Okay, now I'm using the liquid pectin. It's a 3-ounce pouch. So I use both kinds, not just, oh, there we go. Not just the liquid, I use the dry too. So, put that in. We're going to bring it back up to a boil. Let it boil for 1 minute. And then we will check to see what the consistency's like. We'll do the spoon test. And see where we go from there. And taste it. See. Alright, it's already coming up to a boil. So start the timer for 1 minute. And we'll just let this boil. I love this time of year. Apples and fall and pumpkins. We're definitely going to be having pumpkin recipes coming up very shortly. I've already bought the pumpkins and I went kind of crazy. I bought 7 different types of winter squash or pumpkins. And I have a different recipe for each of them. Some of it's stuffing. Ooh, we don't want that to. Some of it's stuffing the pumpkins, roasting. I have a soup recipe I'm going to be doing. And let's see, puree. And then I think I'm going to use one of them as a Dutch oven and cook a stew in it. So, we shall see. Alright, so this is gone for a minute. And it looks like it's going to be okay. So, I'll give it a little taste. Oh my goodness. That is perfect. It's not too sweet. It still has a good tartness. It tastes just like apple pie. So I'm going to get ready and get this over to where I'm going to be canning up my jars. Okay, so we are going to start canning up this apple pie filling, and let me tell you guys, this smells so good. So good. Alright, get the towel down. I have my hot jars that have just been sterilized. If I had a dishwasher, I'd put them in a dishwasher on the sterilized setting, but I do not, so I boil mine for 10 minutes and then they're good to go. And I need a ladle. Okay, so I'm doing mine in half pints. Guys, this looks amazing. So beautiful in the jar. And you want a 1/4 inch headspace. Could put a little more in there. 1/4 inch of headspace. And if you aren't sure, you can get one of these. I'll leave a link below to the kit. I bought a kit. It has grooves, little steps for 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 inch of headspace. So we can do a little more. These babies just don't want me to can today. I tell you, they wake up every time I turn this on. Okay, so that is good. And I still want to debubble. You want to make sure you debubble, just because if any kind of air bubbles were to be up in there, it could cause your jar to fail. And then I have white vinegar. I'm going to wipe the rim of my jar. You want to make sure you do that, and inspect your jar to make sure there's no nicks or anything, because that could also cause a failed jar. I have my hot lids and rings. Ooh, very hot lids and rings. You want to do it fingertip tight, and then it goes to rest in the canner until we're done. And, you can't get a good view of that. Let me bring you. There. Look at all that. The apple pieces. Oh, that's going to be good. Okay. Get you back where you were. So that goes in the canner to rest. I'll do one more for you. And then this is going to process in the canner for 10 minutes. You're going to let your water bath can, well, it's water bath canned. I guess I should have said that first. It's water bath canned. But you want it to come up to a boil. And then once it comes up to the boil, put your lid on and let it process for 10 minutes. And then turn your heat off, take your lid off, and let it sit in your canner for another 5 minutes, just so you don't shock your jars, because you definitely don't want to do that and break one. I've never had one break, but I also take the precautions, and sometimes even if you take the precautions, they've been known to break. So, all right, looks good. Get my lid and ring. And another thing, I am not using Tadler lids. I want to try to use them, but these are actually most of what I'm canning up jam wise are going to be Christmas gifts. So I'm not worried about getting my lids and rings back. So I will process this for 10 minutes and then I will bring you back for the finished results. Alright guys, so this is what we got out of that. The recipe that I'd gone off of, or kind of gone off of, said it was supposed to make 6 half pints, but I got 4 full half pints and then this one. It's not quite. So I just have that in the, oh, I have it cooling off, and I'm going to put it in the fridge, and we're going to use that up. But this is what it looks like. You have all those beautiful apple pieces, and it's a beautiful consistency. You can see on this one, it's thick. It takes a while to get it to move, which is perfect. And the apples are soft, so it's gonna be great. I may even use it as a filling for something, some type of dessert. But this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And I hope to see you guys back soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.